the show. My name is Blessing Fowowe. Were you at Racecourse Amphitheatre yesterday for season 5 of Rep Your Club? In spite of the rain, we had fun. And of course, we enjoyed the atmosphere there, celebrating our different club sides. There were many Chelsea fans in attendance yesterday. For every up Chelsea, you're shouting, you could be sure that you see many fans springing to their feet, raising their hands, punching the air, and of course, excitedly repeating up Chelsea, up Blues. And not so much of Barcelona fans. Of course, I do not know what that what could have been an attribute to that, but of course it was all about Chelsea fans. So much Chelsea fans. United fans also, well, they won Club of the Year, so yeah, maybe. And a bit of Arsenal fans, they are happy again. Their team is doing well. I don't know if it's quite too early for me to start saying they are doing very well, but of course 3 games and 3 points, victories in all of the 3 games played so far. They have maximum point, and of course Arsenal fans are happy and they are proud to don their jerseys again, of course, until things goes right anyway. But yes, we had fun. We enjoyed the atmosphere yesterday. Of course, we had Tire Currency performing, Kenzo Abamieda performing as well. It was such an amazing time out right there at Amphitheatre, the Racecourse at Leko Adamasimba for Rep Your Club season 5. Of course, in spite of the rain, we had so much fun and enjoyed ourselves. So, thank you very much to everyone who were there, who came around yesterday, to our sponsors, Bet King. We want to appreciate you so much. Of course, it is always a shutdown, with us. And of course, that was what we recorded yet again yesterday. I'm not here alone today. Ayobami Animasahun is there, and Daniel Mayokun is also here as well today. AY, one word to describe last night.
Magical. That's the word, magical. Yes, for all the constraints about the weather, it just shows a whole lot about, number one, what football means to Nigerians. It also shows, to a large extent, what the atmosphere obviously was meant to be, and of course turned out to be right there for lots of people that eventually attended. It was all just about celebrating their passion, and I think they did that to a large extent. And of course, for all the perks involved in terms of the Club of the Year that was eventually crowned, some people that also wanted giveaways and of course gifts. For the top stars that also performed, like you rightly said, Kenzo was perhaps give a usual electrifying performance, and then talk about Baba Honorable rather, Tire Currency. He also was there, and of course, top striker, myself, you, Tunde as well. It was just somewhat a magical night. And regardless of the club that you actually support, I'm quite sure if you were there yesterday, you would feel the atmosphere being so amazing. And I thought, if possible, why can't we always have this every night? Just maybe to ensure that, football and people come under one same atmosphere, and we all in unity celebrate one another. That's exactly
every night, yeah.
Exactly, yeah.
Every night,
if possible. Regardless of the performance of your club on the field. You could still see some Manchester United fans celebrating all through the night yesterday.
Beating Liverpool definitely would inject some sort of ginger into you.
Definitely having 3 points from possible 9 is not the best of starts, but I'm quite sure they were able to put that behind them and then celebrate. Of course, talk about Liverpool fans themselves. 2 points from 9. And yet they put all of that behind them and of course celebrated themselves last night. So I think that's exactly what it matters as you guys, being a football fan right here in Nigeria. See more closely right here in Ibadan. And I'm so delighted that we're able to actually create some sort of magical atmosphere for everyone that attended yesterday.
Is it okay for me to say that Chelsea fans are they have the most fans in Chelsea actually have the most fans in your state, Ibadan?
Just like they usually say, some things actually do not go with the rule of thumb. I think that's something I would also just like to agree with. Like people will say, pounded yam is the king of food, even though it's debatable. But quite a lot of people always agree to it. Similar to that is the fact that, Chelsea seems to actually have the huge amount of fans, or say the most amount of fans in terms of numbers here in Ibadan, or say here in Oyo State. Even though there's no way to validate that, but at least from what we've seen here and there, it seems that is something quite easy for me to also run away with, especially when someone dear to you came in a Chelsea jersey. Even though the person eventually switched his or her jersey later on, but then that's also
the person switched to what?
I don't know. I think something in red and white.
Wow.
Yeah.
Do I know this person?
Of course you do.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I took pictures of the person. In fact, okay, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to cast the person on social media. So if you're following me on Instagram, before the end of this show, I'll post my picture with that particular person on my Instagram story.
So you need to give evidence of the person putting on the Chelsea jersey first, and then...
Regardless, I have a lot of people...
No, you have to... That's the only way you
No,
balance
it's quite
out the
easy.
story.
I'll meet with the social media department. I'm quite sure they got pictures or videos of that person. So
Very well then.
yeah, regardless, I'm still
Very
going
well
to put
then.
the picture I had with that particular
I
person.
don't know why I have a feeling that you will not find that first picture, but very well then.
Oh, you have a feeling?
Yeah, I don't know why. I have a feeling.
All I just have to do is to go through the live streaming.
I mean,
One way or the other, the person. Why are you so concerned, by the way?
no, I just have the feeling.
Why are you so
that
concerned?
It's just a
Blessing?
gut feeling that you might not
Regardless,
find.
whether you have the feeling,
And for me,
are you the person?
Of course not.
How
I'm just
come you are
particular-
suddenly interested?
I'm just particular about you balancing out the story.
Regardless, don't worry, I'll do my job. So don't bother yourself. Because I don't know why some people, in the all sense of being disguising, turn out to actually come up to the event with two different jerseys. I don't know for what reason.
I mean, I can only imagine the person.
The only jersey I could have come
celebrating club
with
football.
yesterday was that of Osun United, and I couldn't find it. Why are you laughing, Blessing? Why do I feel there is not ulterior motive?
Please.
Anyways, yeah, we had fun yesterday.
I'm coming to the show with straight face this afternoon. Please don't correct me.
We had fun yesterday. If you're not there, you missed out a whole
You missed
lot.
out really. Maybe
A
you get
lot.
on our Splash FM's
A
Facebook
lot.
page to have
A
an
lot.
idea, just a little idea of what we're talking about. Daniel Mayoko is here as well. Good afternoon, Daniel. What's up? How are you doing?
Good afternoon. It's good to be here. Speaking of fan base, I mean, I don't know for your state, but I do know for Nigeria, Africa as large. Chelsea has the number one
How
fan
do you
base.
identify that?
Statement of facts.
Don't say it's a statement of fact.
Go
Daniel.
check. Go make it's. I don't say what I don't know.
Yeah,
go
that's
make your
what I'm asking.
findings.
So,
Now,
how did you
Daniel,
make
no,
yours?
you do not tell us to go make our findings. If you are making a claim here and saying it's a statement of fact, then you should give me
The
an
fact.
evidence to back up what you have
okay,
said.
as at
Like tangible evidence that I will go online now find and
that's
corroborate
why I
what
said
you're
you,
saying.
You could easily check online.
Yeah, so
right?
tell me your source now.
And I can tell you my source.
No,
What I do
why-
know-
why-
no,
you
no,
are
no,
telling
no,
me
no.
it's a statement
Then
of
it's not
fact.
a
You can't
fact.
tell me your source. Then it's not a
sorry,
fact.
sorry.
It's not a
Social
fact.
network. I mean, the Google, all the
Daniel.
stuff there. You could make a finding.
Daniel, I disagree
So
with
what
you.
I'm talking. It's my own opinion.
You just said
And
it's a
have to
statement of
respect
fact.
it.
Now it's different. It's your opinion, not a statement
And I
of
said
fact.
the statement of fact because
No,
it's
it
what
is
I know
not a
for
statement
sure.
of fact.
And
Today.
it's happening.
No, Daniel, it is not a statement of fact. I think you're mixing up English here. If you say it's a statement of fact,
That
it
means
that it
it's
has been-
verifiable.
Exactly,
I
it's
said
verifiable. That
verify
hypothesis has been
it.
put to test,
I don't
and then
need
you have
to-
a result from it.
Oh.
Now you've just said it's an opinion. So pick one.
No,
Is it an
no.
opinion or a statement of fact?
Sorry, both together. It's a
No.
statement of fact.
No.
And I said you're asking me from my
Hold on.
source.
Daniel,
And
okay,
I
wrap
say,
up your
sorry,
thought. Wrap
telling
up
me
your
my source, and I'm just saying make your findings.
No.
All right?
No.
That's by the way. It's good to be here. I mean, good afternoon to the listeners.
No, I mean,
really.
I'm so ready to take
I'm back and I'm
to
happy.
take Daniel on.
And I'm
this
ready for it
afternoon.
as well too.
Like
know,
we're talking about
really,
Chelsea
really ready.
because we have so many Chelsea fans at Racecourse Amphitheatre yesterday. So we said, okay, is it right for me to say that Chelsea has the most fans in Oyo State? And Daniel comes on and says, in fact, it's not just
I
Oyo
took
State,
it
it
away
is
from maybe
Nigeria.
Oyo because I'm not sure for Oyo. And
Now,
I'm saying Nigeria,
and Daniel
Africa
said,
at large.
hold on. Daniel
That one I'm
says
sure.
it's a statement of fact. Now,
Oh,
if you
yeah.
are telling me the statement of fact, it means that at one point it was an hypothesis that had been put to tests, verified, and then we have an information, we have a record that is backed with evidence.
Listen.
Now, give me a direct evidence. You're telling me to go
Now,
online
and I'm telling
and find
you,
my
I
source.
have my source. I can tell you my
Oh,
source.
you can't tell me your source.
Let me help you. Let me help you.
I have-
Blessing, let me help you.
If I said
Let
go
me
check
help
your
you.
source,
Let me help
I mean,
you
go
guys.
make your
Let me help
findings.
you guys.
You don't expect me to tell
I'm a
you source?
statistician.
No, I
by
can't.
matter of, hold up, I'm a statistician.
Of course.
By matter of, being a student of it and being
Of
a
course, I
graduate.
know.
Now, when you are
attest to
saying
that.
fact, you can thank you very much. When you're saying something is factual, that means easily it is verifiable.
Simple.
And of course, that source is trusted and tested.
And open to all to see.
Of
Now,
course.
there is a reason most people do not use Wikipedia as their source of a fact because it is easily it can actually be edited.
Yes.
So that's why
Anyone can edit a Wikipedia
exactly. Most
page.
people do not use Wikipedia as their source, but rather some people actually use published books because that has been subjected to verification. Whatever
and
is in
research
that
purposes
exact
as well.
research. Now, I'll leave it there. Blessing, we are in the year 2021. Are we not?
2022.
How come? Because the calendar says so.
Yes.
Right?
Verified.
Chelsea are leading the EPL standings at the moment. Isn't that so?
No, it is not.
Why?
Because the table says otherwise.
What's your source?
Of course, the Premier League table, the Premier League website
So how
itself.
come you can tell me that Chelsea
And then you
have the
can't tell me your
most
source.
fans and then you can't give
And
me
then
a
you say I
source
should go and look for it.
No,
Come
it is
on.
not a fact. It is an opinion.
Sorry. It's not an opinion. Now you don't expect me. I mean, as a journalist, you don't expect me to tell you my source.
No,
If
Daniel.
I decide not to tell you my source, You should respect that.
Daniel, this is a different
But I
case.
said, go make your research. Go make your findings.
Daniel,
that's why you're a journalist.
Daniel, you're telling me
you don't have to wait until I tell you my source.
Daniel, you're telling me it is verified, it is confirmed, meaning that there are many there are many evidences to back that up. And you're telling me you cannot tell me the source.
I don't have many. Just one reliable source. And I said, go make your research.
Please let me bring on board the coach, Tunde Adebayo.
Who has surprisingly? Yeah, I mean, I saw him yesterday.
Turning the United jersey this afternoon. Tunde, what's good?
Don't give me that look today.
Good afternoon, Ibadan. Thank you for turning out yesterday. It was indeed a very colorful event. I don't know why you guys are debating.
I mean, Daniel just took me to that zone this afternoon. You know, I always try to avoid things like this. Come on, if you're telling me something is a fact, then give me evidence.
But it's a fact that Chelsea had the most fans yesterday.
Yesterday, agreed. Agreed. But in Nigeria,
that's not even up for debate.
So
trust that already.
But again, maybe Daniel's passion is getting him to call it. But again,
exactly what I said. It's opinion.
I would just say it's. Chelsea, you probably will say in the southwest of Nigeria, they have a good number of supporters. Up north, I'm not sure how much of a base they have. In fact, it will surprise you to know that Barcelona and Real Madrid have huge followership up north. Lagos, yes, you have a few.
Tunde, let me cut you a bit there. Does it compare to the followership for Kano Pillars up north?
Definitely not. But the truth is, again, I don't know. I don't have the source like Daniel is asking us to go get to substantiate. But one thing I would just ask is, of all the top Premier League sides, I'm not sure Chelsea have been to Nigeria to play, because again, it's always a function of the number of followership you have in Manchester United have been here, Arsenal
have been here.
So again, so maybe all of that will
Arsenal came here.
Yeah, Arsenal.
Nigeria.
Yeah.
What year was that? Help me.
I'll check that out.
I know Arsenal has been here also to play. If not here, maybe South Africa. I know
Atletico Madrid have been here as well.
No, in fact, La Liga has.
They have an office.
Yes, so again, because they are trying to penetrate the Nigerian market. So again, those are some of the pointers that tells you how much of a followership base a club has in the country. So the fact that we've not seen Chelsea might probably not speak to the fact that we have them in that number. But again, it's a good day to talk sports and football generally. Thank you for having me.
It's also a good day to
indeed
to probably just come in jerseys as well.
Yes. No.
I mean,
after yesterday's glorious event, it's nice to come around with your jersey.
Yeah, so anyway, I'm looking at Arsenal's website here, and there's a video about Arsenal in Nigeria.
Yeah,
so yes, they have been to Nigeria.
Yeah, they've been to Nigeria.
They've been to Nigeria. That's,
they have a huge base in Nigeria.
You're telling me something and giving me a credible source to go back it up. But hey, I'm not going to drag into that because we have to talk about the things that we have for today, this weekend. And like I said earlier, Manchester United are leading us into the weekend in terms of football action, and the game started at 12:30. United are at Southampton, and Southampton have made just one change from that side that began their last Premier League fixture. That's the 2-1 victory over Leicester City, and Che Adams, who came off the bench to score twice in that match, starts with Sekou Mara dropping out. This is how they're lining up: Bazunu in goal, Janepo, the Salisu, Bella Kochap, Walker Peters, Lavia, Ward-Prowse, Armstrong, El Yunosi, Aribo starting again, and Adams. On their bench, there's Makati, there's Lianco, Bednarek, Valerie, Romeo, Armstrong, Diallo, Perel, and Mara. That is how Southampton, that's that squad rather for today's game against Manchester United. And for United, they named the same starting lineup that started the 2-1 victory over Liverpool on Monday. Casemiro is on the bench and could make his debut following the £17 million move from Real Madrid. Cristiano Ronaldo is also among the substitutes, but Anthony Martial is not in the squad. So there's David De Gea in goal, Malaysia, Martinez and Varane pairing up again in centre back. There's Dalot, McTominay in the midfield alongside Eriksen, Sancho, Fernandes, Elanga and Rashford. And substitutes we have Eaton, Maguire, Shaw, Wan-Bissaka, Fred, Casemiro, Van de Beek, Ronaldo and Garnacho. United's past 7 away games have ended in defeats. Now they're in search of back-to-back Premier League wins for the first time since February. Now, Tunde, We've been talking about it a little too much, in my own opinion, really, because from the transfer issues that they've been having, first difficulty in trying to convince players to come over, and now players saying, you know what, we want to move to Manchester United. The example is Anthony with Ajax, who has had an interview. He says he wants to leave. In fact, he's been telling them he wants to leave since February, and now he looks to be in a sort of a trouble, quote unquote, with Ajax. I mean, they are not seeing eye to eye as regards that. Now, I want to talk about the partnership there with Martinez and Rafael Varane.
Yeah.
Now, Harry Maguire is not guaranteed a start because he has a captain's handbag. Now, that's according to the coach, Erik ten Hag. He says that Rafael Varane is immense, I mean, especially from the last game, and he has a big profile, and says he wants to see how Varane, will continue to partner Martinez in the heart of the defense. And I asked, we are not here on Wednesday, I asked AY on Wednesday if that is an indication of what's to come for Harry Maguire himself.
I think it's a tricky one, considering the fact that Harry Maguire is a key stakeholder within the English setup. Again, it's supposed to be the Manchester United captain, but again, coming in, I think he's had his chance to convince the manager he's the man for the job, but which he hasn't. The first two Premier League games were shaky, and for somebody like me, it was a big surprise that he opted to start with Harry Maguire, because he made it very clear he wants a left-footed centre-back to play as one of the centre-back pairing in his side. But one key element to how Ten Hag loves to play is the eye line. He loves to keep an eye line. He wants to dominate possession. He wants his centre backs to be very, very involved in how the team's build up is done. With that, it's going to be very difficult for Harry Maguire to fit into that style. Harry Maguire, knowing that he's very, very slow, not just about when chasing the ball, or his all coordination, the way he carries himself is very, very, very slow. So that will always be a major Achilles into how he plays and how he's going to fit into how Erik ten Hag loves to play. Now, when you now have an established centre back in Rafael Varane's class and quality, somebody who has won how many Champions League?
5, I think.
Four. It was not at the last one they won, so he should have 4 Champions League medals. He has won the World Cup, and he's not just a team member; he's an integral member of those squads. So it becomes very difficult, even for you as Harry Maguire, for you as the manager, to keep that kind of a player on the bench just because you want to massage your captain's ego. So I totally understand where you starting lineup. Again, this is another manager that is keeping virtually the all-time best goal scorer in world football, Cristiano Ronaldo, on the bench. So again, you can't question his what's the word now? His authority around whether he's got the wherewithal to take those kind of decisions. And I think results will justify him.
Then in that case, should he take the captain's armband away from Maguire?
Okay, so again, if you're looking at Harry Maguire as an individual, I saw some data around how much of business, commercial business, Harry Maguire is able to generate for Manchester United. Whether you love him or hate him, he's always in the news, whether for good or bad. So that brings a lot of commercials for Manchester United. So maybe you probably don't want to inhalate that kind of a player by saying, okay, I'm withdrawing the captain's armband off you. You can be the squad captain, but match day, you are not the captain. And again, maybe that might also be the sort of challenge he needs to get back to his very best form, because we know he's had a very horrid and terrible 12 months to deal with, because his performance has not just been at par. So maybe, again, it's a World Cup year. Maybe that's keeping him as a captain of the team and making him to compete for his role in the squad, in the starting lineup, might probably just be all he needs to get his act together.
Daniel, do you agree with that?
I totally agreed. I mean, I can't see Maguire getting back into that squad again. As far as Ten Hag, yes, that's the truth. I don't know if the FA Cup, the Carabao of a thing, but just like I said, I mean, I can't see him getting back into that. It doesn't fit into that Ten Hag philosophy kind of play, and that would be a major problem for him.
And what about Cristiano Ronaldo?
Well, Cristiano Ronaldo, we're hearing rumors. I don't know how true is that. And Napoli coming up, which I have my reservation with. Instead of going to Napoli, of course, they are already in the Champions League, but then I don't think they could get to the quarterfinal. And even if they do, I mean, they can't go past the quarterfinal. So what is now the essence of you now, going to that kind of a club? Because I look at it to be a downward, not, uplift, because they're in the Champions League. So I think he should rather stay, even though I don't want him to stay there. I think he should rather stay with because his options.
Are you scared?
Not because I'm scared. He's still bigger than Manchester United right now. The guy himself is bigger than United. So what I'm trying to say in essence is, as it is now, his options are limited. He doesn't have many options that I would have looked fine. There's another club there. So the options are very limited. And what are the clubs? Now the latest one is Napoli. So I rather prefer him the way it is. He stay behind probably one more season and see if it could help them to get a Champions League spot. And if they couldn't, he could just find his way rather than going to Napoli. Because of course, like I said, get away from the group stage and eventually you find yourself again in the same Europa League where you are avoiding to play before. So what's different?
If I may just add a bit on the Ronaldo topic, I think for Ronaldo it's not about just winning the Champions League, more about just cementing his goals record in the Champions League. Because again, last season he scored how many goals? He scored in virtually all of United's group stage games. So again, so for me, I think it's more or less cementing his personal record. Should he stay in Manchester United? Erik ten Hag is making it very clear now that it will be very difficult for United to even get for Ronaldo to even get into the starting lineup, considering again how he loves to play. He's a forward-thinking manager who loves to play on the front foot. He wants his forward guys to press and counter press. So Ronaldo doesn't suit that kind of style. So I personally don't see a way for Ronaldo in the United setup today. So if they can achieve his goal of playing for a side that is in the Champions League, however, whether it's the first 6 games of the group stage or whatever, I think it's a win-win for everybody because he wants to play in the Champions League. He doesn't want to play in the Europa League. It doesn't fit into the style of the manager. So I think it's a win-win for both parties if Ronaldo gets a move before Thursday.
Okay, 24 minutes gone. It is still goalless. First half, Southampton has home to Manchester United. But before we leave this topic of United, real quick, AY, I'm looking at the starting lineup. United, Erik ten Hag decides not to change that side that defeated Liverpool. Is this to say that he has maybe found his working 11?
I think perhaps we'll find out after this game. I'm still a bit reserved about the performance they put up against Liverpool on Monday. Why is that? It's because usually that kind of occasion is always good enough to even motivate the team, regardless of the kind of team you actually put up. Regardless, because firstly, it's the fact that they were in dire need of points, and then they came up against their fiercest rivals in Liverpool. So all the factors involved leading up to that particular game were just enough to motivate them, and I think they showed up. They did that very well. But this time around, it's a different ball game entirely. They're up against a relatively high-flying Southampton, who have actually accrued about 7 points from their first 9 games.
5 points.
Is it 5?
5.
Okay, now they've accrued 5 points from their first 3 games. Coupled with the fact that it is a lunchtime kickoff. I'm always stressing on this because I know just how important it is when you have a big team playing at this particular time. It is always somewhat difficult. So now he has decided to stick with the same starting 11 he used against Liverpool. So I'm really quite interested in seeing how well this team can play because tactically myself and today broke down the performance of United after that Liverpool game. And we were able to highlight how the likes of Rashford had a lot of spaces in behind the Liverpool team. I mean, Liverpool's defense to run into. And by doing that, they were able to actually get a couple of goals. But this time around, they'll be up against a low block in Southampton that will obviously not give them that huge amount of space to run into. So our kind of likes of Elanga, Rashford, and of course Sancho still really operate in that United attacking lineup and still get the goals or perhaps get United a desirable result is exactly what I'm keen to see, in this particular game. So if they eventually get that kind of result, so perhaps he has just found the winning team. So why it's now going to be a question of why should he change it when of course he has a winning team that is doing so well. Moreover, that's exactly what I think Mikel Arteta is doing at the moment. And there's a saying that when the soup is not spoiled or something, please help me out there. If it's not,
you just have to
broken. Why fix it?
You just have to bring Arsenal's 9 points into the United conversation. You can't just even allow us enjoy this United conversation.
No, I had to because it is what Arteta is doing at the moment. And
9 points. 9 points. Yes.
No, it's not even
top of the table.
I put that there. but then I was actually. Why you guys trying to put me in there? But I was just trying to highlight what Arteta has been doing that I think has been working well for him. So I think that's just
the standard now.
Thing. Yeah,
it's the standard now. Arteta is the standard.
I don't even know what it is.
No, not yet.
So who is the standard in Premier League?
It has to be Pep.
No, it has to be Jurgen for me.
It has to be who?
Jurgen.
Jurgen
Who? Jurgen who? The guy that just lost
With the start
United.
that he's had to the season.
And guess what? They said
We are talking about
his seventh season is always a disaster.
Yeah,
Okay,
so
okay.
now don't start again. You said the same about Mourinho.
And Mourinho, right?
The reason why I'm going for Jurgen instead of Pep is quite easy for me.
The cost of those squads, right?
Yeah, something like that. And then I'm the kind of person that believes so well in a manager that is able to tick both boxes. You being a manager requires you to actually be tactically astute and also be a very good man manager. And I think Klopp perfectly fits.
Funny enough,
both.
we hardly hear issues around Pep's sides. In fact, the last problem I had about him in terms of man management issue was with Ibrahimovic. His Bayern side. Free flowing.
So maybe you hear stuff after the players leave.
Apart from that,
Gabriel, this was just speaking last week about not having enough time. Stay with Sterling.
Just play for me.
Even for players he had in his camp. Have you all forgotten in a hurry how he actually treated an African legend in Yaya Toure?
Yes.
What did he do? He stopped playing.
Are you asking me now?
He stopped playing.
Okay, so that wasn't enough.
He didn't fit his style of play, just like Maguire didn't fit his style.
Oh, really?
Of Eric
So that's
Ten Hag.
enough to now put him into
Even
exile
if it
and
doesn't,
practically end
there
his
could be a
own
way
contract.
to
I mean,
do
it's
to handle it.
the man's career.
Okay, guys.
I'm just being factual.
Let's look into other fixtures. I mean, Tunde seems pretty confident that United would defeat Southampton today.
No, they won't.
There you go again.
They won't.
There you have the man.
Tunde, you are confident, yes?
Yeah, I am.
Daniel,
I think
they won't.
No, they won't. Okay,
That one is
that's enough. To other games coming up today, we'll have Brentford at home to Everton, Brighton hosting Leeds, Chelsea hosting Leicester, Liverpool against Bournemouth, City against Crystal Palace, and Arsenal at home at the Emirates to Fulham. Let's start with Chelsea and Leicester City. Could they possibly compound? This is for you. Could they possibly compound Leicester